the dividing line between the third wedding anniversary. This day also marked my 27th birthday. My wife, Barbara, gave me a special gift. A divorce agreement. Calmly holding a pen, Barbara signed her name in the lower left corner of the document. Then pushed it toward me. Henry has a temper that's hard to please. He'll only accept me if we get divorced first. I've signed it already, now it's your turn. Don't worry, it's just for show. Her voice was even and emotionless, as if she were simply asking what we should have for dinner. Although I no longer cared about her private life, the endless stream of gossip online made it impossible not to know who Henry was. He was a young actor newly signed to Barbara's company. In his early 20s, bright and full of energy. What stood out most was that Barbara had openly and relentlessly pursued him for nearly 2 months. Yet he never reciprocated. With all the men before him, Barbara would lose interest within a month. But this Henry was different. Not only had he broken her record, he even made her propose a fake divorce. I took the divorce papers and smirked slightly. So this is the gift you prepared for me? How special. For the first time, Barbara's expression faltered. Then, remembering what day it was, a flicker of guilt crossed her eyes. I've been so busy on set trying to win Henry over. I forgot today's our anniversary and your birthday. I'm sorry, I'll have my assistant send your present later. When there's someone new, it's easy to forget the one who once saved you. I sneered. No need, we're getting divorced anyway. Save your gift for someone else. Barbara frowned and quickly retorted. It's just a fake divorce. I only need the paperwork to appease a kid. We're not actually registering for a real divorce, are we? But I had already decided to make this fake act real. Without a word, I picked up the pen and signed my name. Ending 3 years of marriage. When I finished, Barbara exhaled in relief, snapped a photo of the agreement, and made a phone call. I didn't know what the person on the other end said, but her mood brightened, and her tone softened flirtatiously. I've divorced him. Now you can be with me openly. Wait for me on set, I'll come pick you up so we can celebrate. After hanging up, she grabbed her coat and headed for the door. Just as she was about to close it, she turned and said, Today's the first day Henry agreed to be with me. I have to go to him. Next year, I'll celebrate your birthday and our anniversary with you. And then she hurried away to find her little puppy. Of course, she didn't hear my whispered reply. Barbara, there won't be a next year for us. After the roar of her car faded, I went upstairs, opened the safe, and took out the 2 marriage certificates kept in the very back. Opening the red one, 2 bright smiles looked back at me. Me at 26, Barbara at 24. We were leaning close, our eyes full of love and hope for the future. My gaze lingered on the freshly signed divorce agreement. When did things between us become like this? I still remember the first time I met Barbara. At a film wrap-up party. I was still a newcomer to the entertainment industry, and happened to find her doubled over in pain at the end of a hallway. Her face pale from drinking too much. Realizing she had an upset stomach, I handed her a bottle of yogurt from my bag. That small act of kindness caught her attention. Attention that eventually turned into love. But Barbara was the eldest daughter of the Johnson family. An heiress born into wealth and privilege. A world far beyond my reach. I knew my place. How could a rich young lady like her truly fall for an ordinary man like me? It must have been just a whim, a passing fancy. So, I rejected her without hesitation. Unexpectedly, Barbara didn't give up. She stayed by my side, transforming herself from a high-born lady into my little assistant. She cooked for me, took me to the hospital when I was sick, and always handed me a towel first when I came out of the water scenes. I wasn't made of stone. Her warmth slowly melted my defenses, and I fell for her. The moment that truly captured my heart was when an accident occurred during a cable stunt. I nearly fell, but Barbara threw herself forward to cushion my fall. I was unhurt. She broke 2 ribs. After that, she told her family that she would marry no one but me, and even their strongest objections couldn't sway her. I didn't want to hold her back, so I worked tirelessly for 4 years, rising step by step to become a top-tier actor, until the Johnson family reluctantly accepted me. When we held our wedding, the entire internet celebrated us, calling Barbara a rare, devoted woman from a wealthy family. I believed that too. I thought our marriage would remain sweet for a lifetime. But in the second year after our wedding, a bite mark appeared on Barbara's neck. When I first saw it, I could barely think. I sat motionless on the sofa, and she, usually so proud, knelt before me. swearing it was a setup by a rival, promising it would never happen again. Remembering all we'd been through, I forgave her. But soon, she began staying out overnight. I don't know how many times I called her like a madman. Followed her, waited for her to come home, only for it to end in more furious arguments. Barbara would stay silent as I lashed out, then calmly say, "Bennett, in our circle, no one can stay with only one person forever. All you need to know is that you're the one I love, and that the title of husband of the Johnson Group's CEO belongs only to you." Not just Barbara, everyone around me said the same. "The young men outside are just passing toys. You're her real husband, her family. She'll come back eventually, just wait." So I waited, and waited until today. Until Barbara, for the sake of her puppy, asked for a fake divorce. The moment she signed her name, it felt like the chains in my heart finally broke. Did I marry her for her family's money or power? No. I married her for love. A love that had now decayed into filth. Even our once genuine marriage was now nothing more than a prop to soothe her new lover. If that was the case, then this marriage no longer needed to exist. Coming back to my senses, I took both the divorce agreement and our marriage certificate to the courthouse. After confirming everything was in order, they told me to return in a month to collect the divorce certificate. When I stepped outside, sunlight fell on me, and for the first time in years, I felt light again. Then I dialed a number I'd saved long ago. "Alan, you once invited me to film in England. I'm saying yes now." There was a burst of noise on the other end. Then Alan's voice, trembling with excitement. "Bennett, you're finally saying yes. I've kept this role open just for you. With you in it, I know this film will win awards." Before marrying Barbara, her mother had made me promise to give up acting and work at the Johnson Group full-time. For 3 years, aside from attending events as her +1, I'd practically disappeared from the industry, immersed in endless corporate image projects. I'd almost forgotten what it felt like to be the youngest actor ever to hold that trophy. But soon, just a month from now, I'd get the divorce certificate and return to the career I loved. "Bennett, when will you arrive in England?" Alan asked eagerly. I looked at my calendar. "On the 6th next month," I said. Exactly 1 month from the divorce date. As soon as I got the papers, I would fly to England. After discussing a few details about the role, I hung up the call. Just as I got into my car, my phone chimed with a notification. It was Barbara's latest Instagram post. "As long as you agree to be with me, I'm willing to do anything." Attached were 2 photos, one of the divorce agreement, and another of her interlocked fingers with Henry. Barbara's Instagram had been registered 7 years ago, with only 3 previous posts. The announcement of our relationship, a post celebrating my A-list award, and our grand wedding photo. Now, all 3 had been deleted, leaving only this new one. Under the post, Henry's fans flooded the comments. "The noble CEO and her pure young boyfriend, what a perfect match. Our Henry deserves this. That old man should have been gone long ago." Accordingly, the name, Bennett, once again climbed back into the top search trends. A-list star Bennett divorces, kicked out of a wealthy family, the model couple of the past, broken after 3 years. When I married Barbara, I never imagined we would end up like this. We had survived the harshest opposition from the Johnson family. Yet we couldn't overcome her change of heart. I swallowed the bitterness in my chest and left a comment under her Instagram post. "Congratulations, President Barbara, on finding your new love." Just as I hit send, my former manager, Guardiola, called. "Bennett, you and President Barbara?" Guardiola had witnessed my entire journey, from a rookie actor to an A-list star. Even though I stopped acting after marriage, we still kept in touch. Sensing his hesitation, I spoke first. "Guardiola, it's true. Barbara and I have already signed the divorce papers." He went silent for a while, then sighed heavily. "Back then, I thought President Barbara was different from other rich women. She treated you so genuinely." Sunlight filtered through the branches, casting speckled shadows across my face. When I married her, I too believed she was a rare, faithful woman in the upper class. But looking back now, perhaps she was just a better actress than I ever realized. If she had gone into acting, she would have easily won an Oscar. After all, her acting skills had deceived even an A-list actor like me. "Enough about that," I said, changing the subject. "Don't forget to show up at the award ceremony tonight." Before my marriage, the last film I starred in was Game of Thrones. Because of its lengthy post-production, it wasn't released until last year. And it ended up winning several international awards. That performance even earned me a nomination for Best Actor at the Oscars. The ceremony was tonight. After hanging up, I drove straight to the venue. I had just found my seat when a commotion broke out at the entrance. Following the noise, I saw Henry walking in hand with Barbara. As soon as reporters noticed them, they swarmed forward with questions. "President Barbara, your 3-year marriage with Mr. Bennett has ended just like that. Do you have any regrets?" "Mr. Henry, President Barbara divorced her husband for you. Don't you think that's immoral?" Facing the barrage of sharp questions, Henry cleared his throat and pulled Barbara close. "I, Henry, am no homewrecker. Barbara and I only got together after her divorce. Her marriage with Bennett had long been broken. This isn't my fault." Barbara looked at the man beside her with tender affection. "No, I don't regret it. When love no longer exists, marriage becomes nothing but a cage. Divorce is freedom, for both sides." Each word stabbed into my chest like a knife. A cage? So that's what our marriage had become to her, suffocating. Guardiola, sitting next to me, glanced over worriedly, his eyes full of sympathy. I shook my head and stared at Barbara's hands adjusting Henry's tie. A bitter smile tugged at my lips. To be fair, wasn't it a cage for me too? I had long known that our love had rotted. Yet I kept lying to myself, pretending not to see it. Fortunately, in just 1 month, we would both be free from this cage. The award ceremony soon began. When it came time to announce Best Actor, my palms were slick with sweat. While filming Game of Thrones, I had thought that might be my last performance ever. I poured my soul into that role. If I could win tonight, it would be the perfect closing chapter to my acting career in this country. The host held the envelope, dragged out the suspense by naming all the nominees one by one, then finally announced, "The Oscar for Best Actor goes to Henry." Thunderous applause erupted. Henry kissed Barbara passionately before walking onto the stage to accept the award. A flicker of disappointment flashed through me, but I quickly regained composure. Guardiola leaned close, whispering irritably, "Bennett, I already checked with the insiders. The judges were blown away by your film. You were supposed to win. Tell me, could Barbara have bribed them?" Before he could finish, I instinctively replied, "No. Barbara would never manipulate things behind the scenes. Even when we were together, she never used her power to get me roles. Maybe Henry's performance just moved the judges more." Guardiola grumbled in disbelief. "That commercial film of his could never beat yours." I patted his shoulder reassuringly. "It doesn't matter. I'll be leaving for England in a month to start a new project anyway." His eyes widened in surprise. "England? You mean director Alan, the one who's been after you for years?" I smiled and nodded. "Exactly. That's incredible. Alan's one of the biggest names in international cinema. Don't forget me when you become a global superstar." I promised him repeatedly until he finally let me go. After the Best Actor award was announced, the rest of the ceremony no longer concerned me. I left early, heading for the exit. Passing backstage, I spotted Barbara standing there, holding a bouquet of red roses. My fists clenched, I turned away, pretending not to see her. Then a low, silky voice drifted from behind. "President Barbara, we followed your instructions. Switched the Best Actor award to Henry. Do you need us to arrange anything else?" My footsteps froze. Then Barbara's calm, detached voice followed. "Just keep your mouth shut. Don't let Henry find out the Best Actor award was originally meant for Bennett." Her words struck me like lightning. The Best Actor was me. They kept talking, but I no longer heard them. My eyes fell on the roses in her arms. They seemed mockingly bright. I had defended her, sworn she would never abuse her power. Yet reality had just slapped me across the face. Maybe my gaze had been too intense. Barbara's eyes swung toward me. The moment our eyes met, a flicker of embarrassment crossed her face, but she quickly composed herself. She hugged the bouquet of roses and came over, her voice carrying a note of helplessness. "Bennett, let Henry have the Best Actor award this time. Help me keep this a secret." HMPH. I couldn't believe it. How could she say the word "give" so matter-of-factly? "Barbara, that honor belonged to me in the first place. Why should I give it to him?" She knitted her brow, a little impatient. "You're not acting anymore. What do you need those titles for? Besides, if it weren't for the comment you posted today that made Henry angry, I wouldn't have had to come up with this way to appease him." Her harsh words made me clench my fists without thinking. My voice trembled as I asked, "Are you saying I'm to blame, that you stole my honor and then blame me for it?" Barbara rarely saw me so agitated. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around my waist, voice soft and coaxing. "Bennett, I didn't mean that. I've just been very into Henry lately and naturally need to appease him. When I get bored of him, I'll bring the Best Actor trophy back to you right away. Don't worry, I know who my husband is. Right now, what I do with him is just a show. Don't be concerned." I had heard explanations like that so many times over the past 2 years they'd become numb. "Just playing with him. Your place as husband is still yours. It's all for show." In her eyes, her behavior was excusable, while I, the husband, if I got angry, was the one being petty and unreasonable. I pulled away from her embrace, holding back the sting in my eyes. No need for President Barbara to worry. If that trophy has been sullied by others, I don't want it anymore, nor do I want the person. Saying that, I didn't wait to see her reaction. Staggering, I left the award ceremony and went home. The next day I got up early and began packing up my belongings. Except for the essentials I'd take to England, I boxed up and discarded everything, including everything that linked Barbara and me. Albums from courtship to wedding, the oversized expensive wedding photo, even the hydrangeas she'd planted in the garden, my favorite flowers. 4 years of dating, 3 years of marriage, 7 years living together in this house, memories everywhere. It took me half a month to clear out every keepsake crammed with memories. Finally, the once warm house reverted to the cold mansion it had been 7 years ago when I first moved in. During that fortnight, Barbara didn't come back even once. I knew where she was. As was her habit when she had a new lover, she would stay with him for at least a month. Besides, Henry was a showy man who flaunted their relationship on Instagram nearly every day. The other day he took her deep-sea fishing and cooked for her himself. Yesterday she visited him on set and soothingly rubbed his shoulders. Perhaps as our shared memories were being removed from the house, the love I had for her was slowly drawn out of my heart too. When I saw those Instagram posts, I paused only briefly before scrolling past. After finishing the packing, I drove to the mall. Shooting schedules were long. After I left for England I wouldn't return for at least 2 years. I needed to bring quite a lot of luggage. After an afternoon of shopping, the trunk was full of bags. I closed the trunk, opened the car door, ready to get in and leave. One foot had just landed on the driver's seat when a force from behind suddenly pulled me out. I didn't have time to brace myself and fell hard to the ground. My arm was badly scratched. Blood trickled down. I gritted my teeth against the pain and looked up to see more than 10 young women swarming me. Attacking. I didn't know any of them. "Who are you?" I demanded. At my words, their faces showed only contempt. One girl stepped forward and slapped me hard, scolding, "It's all this old bastard's fault. If he hadn't taken President Barbara's husband's place, Henry would have been with her long ago. Now they finally divorced and he still dares to spend President Barbara's money? So shameless." The sharp sting on my face seared. I understood then, these were Henry's fans. But Henry was the third party, I was the official husband. In their eyes, I was to blame. Moreover, today I'd been shopping with my own card, nothing to do with Barbara. I tried to explain with difficulty, asking them to calm down. "I haven't spent a penny of Barbara's. You're following and attacking me, that's illegal, you know?" At that, a sneer curled on the girl's lips. "Fool, and you still dare to lie. Sisters, let's teach this bastard a lesson, take out our anger for Henry." No sooner had she finished than they closed in, forming a ring and began beating me. Each one used all their strength to punch and kick me. Though I was a man, 2 fists couldn't contend with 4 or more attackers. I couldn't resist and could only endure their blows. The parking spot was secluded, no passers-by were around. Their behavior grew more brazen as they hurled insults. "You old pervert, how dare you snatch a woman from our Henry? We'll make you remember this." An A-list star my foot, probably slept her way to the top. President Barbara was blind before, thankfully our Henry saved her. I could even feel sharp nails ripping the skin, organ pain like it was being displaced. "What are you doing?" The blows suddenly stopped. I blinked with difficulty and saw security guards running toward me. At that moment I finally couldn't hold on and fainted. When I came to, I was in the hospital. Barbara, who hadn't seen me for half a month, was sitting by the bed holding my hand. Seeing I'd woken, she asked anxiously, "Bennett, how do you feel? Better?" I pulled my hand away without a word and stared out the window. "Have they arrested those who beat me? I want to sue them." Barbara looked at the injuries on my body, pity in her eyes. The mall security called the police right away. They're being detained at the station. Before I could say more, Henry barged into the room and brazenly looped an arm around Barbara's waist. "Barbara, Bennett's awake?" His eyes flicked to me and he offered an apology. "Bennett, I'm really sorry, my fans caused trouble for you. They only wanted what's best for me. They thought you were delaying my happiness with Barbara, so they lost their temper." He apologized with his mouth. But the smugness in his eyes and the mockery in his tone stripped away any sincerity. Henry was clearly pleased to see me hurt. Rage rose within me. If I hadn't instinctively avoided worse, today's injuries might have been far more serious. As an actor, a facial scar can ruin a career. "Henry, if you can't control your fans, let me help you. I won't let those people go unpunished. They can wait for their lawsuits." As soon as the words left his mouth, Henry immediately spoke up in defense. "Mr. Bennett, I already apologized to you. Why can't you just let it go? I will never let you hurt my fans." Then, with reddened eyes, he turned to Barbara and said softly, "Barbara, you're my girlfriend now. He's your senior, your ex-husband. Who will you help?" Seeing the usually proud Henry looking so aggrieved, Barbara's heart instantly softened. She hugged him tightly, forgetting everything else. "Do you even need to ask? Of course, I'll help my Henry. Don't worry, they'll be released safely." For a moment, my mind went completely blank. I stared at her in disbelief. "Barbara, you're really going to protect your little lover like this? I almost lost my career because of this. Do you even realize that?" Before I could finish, Henry frowned and retorted unhappily, "Mr. Bennett, I call you senior out of respect, but that doesn't mean you can slander me at will. Barbara and I only got together after you two divorced. I'm her official boyfriend." I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. There's an old saying, it takes two hands to clap. If Henry really hadn't done anything inappropriate with Barbara before our divorce, then with her proud personality, there's no way she would have chased after him for 2 whole months. Henry simply didn't want to lose his goldmine, yet also didn't want to be labeled as a homewrecker. Barbara gently stroked his hair to comfort him, then looked straight at me with a voice that left no room for argument. "But you're fine, aren't you? Bennett, how much compensation do you want? Just name your price." Crack. I clearly heard the sound of something shattering inside me. 7 years of love between us, already on shaky ground, now turned completely to ashes. I clenched my fists until the veins on my hands stood out, forcing myself to keep my tone calm. President Barbara truly does love her Henry. Her expression darkened slightly, brows tightening almost imperceptibly. I didn't care and went on. "In that case, just give me $7,000 for medical expenses. I won't pursue the matter any further." Henry looked a little surprised. "Only $7,000? I nodded firmly. "Yes, just $7,000. Consider it the price to end 7 years, from the day we fell in love to the day we divorced. It'll be the full stop to our story, to our marriage." Barbara said nothing more, transferred the money, and left with Henry. The hospital room fell silent again. I turned over, pulling the blanket over my head. Maybe because of my injury, the pillow beneath me was damp. I stayed in the hospital for nearly 10 days. During that time, Barbara came to visit once, but I pretended to be asleep so I wouldn't have to see her. After I was discharged, I met up with a few close friends, telling each of them that I was leaving the country soon. They were genuinely happy for me, saying it was a great chance to restart my career abroad. As my departure day approached, I counted the days restlessly. On the very last day, I went to the courthouse as soon as it opened. After a month of mandatory mediation, I finally got the divorce certificate in hand. Just as I stepped out of the courthouse, my phone rang. It was a message from Henry, asking to meet at a private club. My eyes lingered on the divorce papers for a moment. Then I decided to go. When I entered the private room, Henry was already there. He took a slow sip of coffee and smiled at me. "Mr. Bennett, the reason I asked you out today isn't anything bad. I just wanted to thank you for letting me and Barbara be together. Actually, I wanted to talk after you two divorced. But Barbara's been glued to me all month. She wouldn't even let me be away from her for 3 hours. She insists on being by my side all the time. Even when I'm filming, she waits on set. She even humbled herself to work as my assistant. Today, it was really hard for me to sneak out. My hand tightened unconsciously around my cup. Barbara used to cling to me like that too. Only now, I was no longer the one she cared about." Henry noticed my reaction, and the smile in his eyes deepened. "Looks like Mr. Bennett still hasn't gotten over Barbara, huh? What a pity, you're the past now. When she pursued me, I told her I'd never be a third party. For me, she immediately filed for divorce. I guess that proves who matters more to her. Your history, Bennett. Henry was clearly a clever, ambitious man. No wonder Barbara had fallen for him so quickly. Even enough to initiate the divorce herself. You didn't ask me here just to gloat, did you? I said flatly. Henry laughed. Mr. Bennett, as expected, you're sharp. He reached into his bag, pulled out a sheet of paper, and handed it to me. I frowned, uncertain what game he was playing. But when I took the paper, 5 bold words hit me like a hammer. Pregnancy test report. My mind went blank. A cold numbness spread through my chest, freezing my heart bit by bit. Barbara was pregnant. Henry seemed pleased by my reaction, raising his chin proudly, voice full of smugness. Mr. Bennett, Barbara and I have only been together for a month. And she's already carrying my child. You two were married for 3 years and never had one. What a failure you are. I clenched the report so tightly that the paper crumpled in my hand. Barbara and I did have a child once. In our 2nd year of marriage, she was 1 month pregnant. I was overjoyed, spent every day cooking special meals for her. But one night, she didn't come home. The food on the table went cold, then warm again, over and over till dawn. When she finally returned, there was a faint mark on her neck. That was the first time she cheated. I sat on the sofa the entire night, unable to sleep. The next day, I learned that the baby was gone. She lay weakly in the hospital bed, crying, saying it was punishment she deserved, and swore she would never cheat again. But later, she went on seeing one man after another, just never allowing herself to get pregnant again. That little lost life had been the dividing line between us. And now, she'd clearly forgotten it. Still, I suppose it's for the best. We're divorced now. Who she's with, whose child she bears, none of it matters to me anymore. Suppressing the storm inside, I handed the test report back to Henry. Congratulations, I said calmly. Seems like the two of you have something to celebrate. His smug smile froze. He hadn't expected me to take it so calmly. He stood up, grabbed my wrist, a mocking grin tugging at his lips. You say congratulations, but deep down, you must hate me, don't you? Too bad. I don't like the idea of Barbara having an ex-husband still hanging around. I want you completely gone from her life. Before I could even process what Henry's words meant, he suddenly grabbed my hand and smashed the cup against his own head. Blood streamed down his cheek. His face went pale as he clutched at the wound. My heart clenched. I instinctively pulled out my phone to call emergency services. Henry. Barbara suddenly kicked the door open. Her hands trembled as she rushed forward, trying to stop the bleeding that wouldn't cease. Henry, don't be afraid, I'll take you to the hospital right now. I opened my mouth to explain, but she immediately called the security guards, holding him tightly as she headed toward the door. When she passed me, she slammed her shoulder hard into mine. I staggered back, but she didn't even notice, too focused on comforting the man in her arms. She didn't say a single word, yet I could feel the icy contempt radiating from her whole being. I didn't even know how I got to the hospital. When I finally found Henry's operating room, Barbara was waiting outside, her face visibly tense. It seemed she truly cared for Henry. I sat down quietly in the chair across from her, saying nothing, waiting for the surgery results. The hallway was silent. The woman who once loved me so deeply now felt like she was galaxies away. Between us, there was only silence. After what felt like forever, Barbara finally lifted her red-rimmed eyes, suppressing her anger as she said, Bennett, I promised you. The position of the Johnson Group's president's husband will always belong to you. The one I love is you. Why did you hurt Henry? 7 years of marriage, I knew her too well. She was standing right on the edge of fury. The last time she had been this angry was when I got injured during a shoot, and she took her anger out on the entire production crew. Now, the person she was furious over wasn't me, but her little lover, and the one who had to bear her wrath was me. What a joke. I lowered my gaze, swallowing the bitterness rising in my chest. I didn't hurt him, he framed me. Barbara let out a cold, mocking laugh. Bennett, since when did you learn to play the jealousy games women do? Haven't I given you enough? The position of president's husband, my love, they're all yours. I was just having fun with Henry. Couldn't you tolerate that? Just having fun. Only love you. Hearing those words, I laughed out loud. The more I laughed, the hotter my eyes burned. Barbara, you've lied so much. You probably believe your own words now, don't you? Ask yourself honestly, do you still love me? If you love me, why keep finding other men? If you love me, why let another man make you pregnant? If you love me, why can't you trust me at all? Seeing the devastation and hopelessness in my eyes, Barbara's anger slowly cooled. She tried to reason with herself. He's only like this because he loves me too much. Because he's jealous. This month, I spent all my time with Henry and neglected his feelings. She stood up and hugged me tightly. Bennett, just wait a little longer, okay? Once I get bored with the men outside, I'll come back to you. Then, no matter what you want to do, I'll stay with you. Same old promise. Empty words that would never come true. I gently pushed her away, my voice calm. No need, we're officially divorced now. I don't have to wait anymore. What I want to do next, I'll do on my own. Barbara assumed I was just sulking. This time, about Henry, I'll make sure no one holds you accountable. But once he wakes up, you have to apologize to him. I could hardly believe my ears. Apologize? For what? I hadn't done anything wrong. I was about to protest when the surgery room door suddenly opened. A nurse ran out, breathless. President Barbara, the patient is experiencing severe blood loss. We need a transfusion immediately. Barbara quickly pulled out her phone, calling her secretary to mobilize every matching blood type from the city's blood banks. Watching her frantic concern, I was reminded of the first time I had a cable accident on set. She had used her own body to cushion my fall. She was just as terrified then. And only after seeing me safe did she faint from exhaustion. I rolled up my sleeve, extending my arm toward the nurse. Test my blood type. If it matches, use mine first. The moment I said that, Barbara's eyes grew complicated. Her lips moved as if she wanted to say something. But in the end, she stayed silent. I didn't care. I followed the nurse to give blood. They took 800 milliliters before stopping. My face went pale, lips drained of color. I held my wound and slowly walked back to her, forcing a faint smile. Now I owe you nothing anymore. The life debt from 7 years ago, I've repaid it. Barbara thought I was feeling guilty about hurting Henry. That I was offering my blood as atonement. Seeing my bloodless face, her heart softened. Bennett, go home and rest first. Once Henry's stable, I'll come see you. I said nothing, just turned and dragged my weakened body away. For some reason, watching my retreating figure filled her with unease. She wanted to call out to me, but the operating room lights turned off. She had to ask about Henry's condition first. When she finally looked up again, I was gone. When I got home, I grabbed the suitcase I'd already packed and rolled it to the door. I took the divorce certificate from my bag, placed it on the shoe cabinet, tore a slip of paper, and wrote my final words to her. Barbara, the script between us officially wraps today. From now on, we won't meet again. I placed the note beneath the divorce papers and took one last look around the house we'd lived in for 7 years. 7 years of love and hate, all ended today. I, Bennett, will go on to write the next script of my own life. At the hospital, Barbara sat beside Henry's bed. The anesthesia hadn't worn off, and he was still unconscious. Strangely, even though she should have been worried sick about Henry's condition, it was my departing back that kept replaying in her mind. It made her uneasy, for reasons she couldn't explain. She took out her phone and opened our chat window. That was when she realized. The last time we talked was a month ago. Before, even when she didn't come home, I'd always message her. But this past month, not a single word. Barbara bit her lip, walked out of the ward, and called her assistant. Go to the supermarket, buy some tonic soup, and take it to Bennett. Tell him to make sure he drinks it all. Then she went back to our chat window and typed, Bennett, I asked my assistant to bring you some soup. Drink it to replenish your blood and get some rest. Barbara knew I always pinned her chat at the top. No matter how busy I was, I always replied to her within 2 minutes. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Half an hour passed. And still, no reply. Barbara frowned. The uneasy feeling in her chest grew stronger. But she quickly comforted herself. Maybe he's already resting. Thinking that, she relaxed slightly, put her phone away, and re-entered the room. As she opened the door, Henry stirred weakly, his eyes fluttering open. Barbara. She immediately grabbed his hand, pressed it to her cheek, and gently caressed his pale face. Henry, how do you feel now? Does anywhere hurt? Tears welled up in Henry's eyes. Barbara, I'm sorry. I just wanted to thank Bennett for bringing us together. That single sentence made Barbara frown. Why was he so careless? Coming to see me face to face again? Wasn't it enough that I filed that fake divorce for him? Henry noticed her displeasure instantly. He looked at her with teary eyes, his tone pitiful. Barbara, did I do something wrong? I shouldn't have gone to see Bennett. It's just, I was so happy being with you that That fragile tone softened her heart again. He's just a kid, she thought. It's normal he lost control a little. She stroked Henry's hair, soothing him gently. Henry, nothing matters more than you. As long as you're safe, everything's fine. Those words immediately calmed Henry's anxious heart. His eyes reddened again. Barbara, Bennett. Before he could finish, her phone suddenly rang. She answered, and her assistant's panicked voice came through the line. President Barbara, I'm already at your house. But no one's answering the door. Could something have happened to Bennett? Barbara's pupils constricted instantly as she let go of Henry's hand. Henry, I have something to take care of. I'll come back to see you once I'm done. Without another word, she hurried out of the hospital room. Henry had been close enough to hear what the assistant said over the phone. Jealousy flared in his chest like wildfire. He tried to call Barbara's name, to stop her from leaving. But she didn't seem to hear him, she just walked away without looking back. Once she got in the car, Barbara floored the accelerator. The vehicle shot forward like an arrow released from a bow, racing through the streets. The house was 40 minutes away from the hospital. But she made it there in 20. Her assistant was still waiting anxiously at the gate. The moment she saw Barbara's figure, she rushed over. President Barbara, I've been ringing the bell for half an hour. But Mr. Bennett still hasn't opened the door. Barbara forced down the unease in her chest and unlocked the door. As soon as she stepped inside, she noticed something was off. The house felt emptier. The large wedding photo that once hung in the living room was gone. The vases they'd picked out together for the dining table and coffee table, gone too. Even the hydrangea garden outside, once lush and full, now looked bare and lifeless. That uneasiness she'd been trying to suppress came surging back. Her heartbeat grew erratic. She turned her gaze away and strode toward the bedroom. She wanted to ask me. She had only been gone for a month. How had the home they shared changed so drastically? But when she pushed open the bedroom door, the man she thought was resting in bed, was nowhere to be found. The blanket on the bed was perfectly smooth, without a single crease. Barbara stepped forward, lifted the quilt, and felt a chill seep into her fingertips. A terrible premonition gripped her. She yanked open the door to the walk-in closet and froze. All of my clothes were gone. The spacious closet now held only her own lonely wardrobe. Barbara couldn't hold it in anymore. She grabbed her phone and dialed my number. But all she heard was the cold, mechanical voice. Sorry, the number you have dialed is currently unavailable. Only then did Barbara finally realize something was truly wrong. I had left. But why? Just this morning I donated blood to Henry. What kind of game was I playing now? Then, like a flash, she remembered what Henry had said before she left the hospital. Could it be because of that stupid "thank you" he said in front of me? The more she thought about it, the more it made sense. Barbara's frustration flared into anger. She had explained to me countless times that other men meant nothing to her. That Henry was just another fleeting amusement. That she had no real feelings for him. It was just some silly remark from a naive boy. How could I be so petty? She had even agreed to a fake divorce for Henry's sake. And now I'd left the house over a few words? How absurd. The more Barbara thought about it, the angrier she became. She turned to the assistant waiting by the door and ordered coldly. Find out where Bennett is. Report to me the moment you know. The assistant nodded quickly and started toward the exit. But as she reached the door, her steps faltered. She stammered. President Barbara, Mr. Bennett, he. Barbara frowned sharply. Speak properly. What about Bennett? The assistant hesitated, eyes darting nervously. Finally, after swallowing hard, she said in one breath. President Barbara, Bennett left something for you on the shoe cabinet. You should see it for yourself. Barbara walked toward the shoe cabinet, suspicion growing in her chest. When she saw the small red booklet lying there, her face froze. Her trembling hand picked it up. 3 words on the cover struck her like a bolt of lightning. Divorce certificate. Her breath caught. Divorce? When had we divorced? Why didn't she know? No, impossible, she whispered. He must have taken a prop from somewhere to trick me. Yes, that must be it. Barbara tried to convince herself as her hands shook. But when she opened the booklet and saw the contents inside, all hope shattered. Under the columns labeled wife and husband were clearly printed her name and mine. The court's official seal was genuine. It was real. Barbara, who prided herself on always being calm, stood completely stunned. She couldn't remember when we had gone through with the divorce. The assistant swallowed again and nervously handed her a slip of paper. President Barbara, Mr. Bennett also left a note for you. Barbara snatched it, only to see a single line. Barbara, the script between us officially wraps today. From now on, we'll never meet again. Never meet again? Her lips trembled. How could he be so heartless? 7 years together. And I had walked away so decisively. Secretly filing for divorce and leaving behind nothing but that note. The paper crumpled in her fist as a chill spread from her heart outward. She pulled out her phone and sent me message after message. When did you secretly file for divorce? I never agreed to this. I don't accept it. Where are you, Bennett? Are you really leaving me just because of Henry? If you hate him that much, I promise, I'll cut ties with him completely. But 30 minutes passed, and the screen remained silent. Barbara's expression darkened. In an icy tone, she ordered the assistant to investigate. When exactly I had filed the divorce papers and where I was now. The assistant gave her a strange look. I'll find out where Mr. Bennett is, but about the divorce. She hesitated, then added cautiously. President Barbara, a month ago you mentioned a fake divorce plan for Mr. Henry. Didn't you? Both you and Mr. Bennett signed that agreement. It's likely that Mr. Bennett took that document and made it official. Barbara's face went blank. She had completely forgotten about that fake divorce agreement. To her, it was nothing more than a prop. A bit of theater to fool Henry into saying yes to being with her. She never imagined that I would take that document and turn the performance into reality. Everything from the past month suddenly made sense. The silence, the distance, the missing belongings. I had been preparing to leave all along. Just waiting for the divorce certificate to be issued. But why now? She hadn't even seen other lovers for the past 2 years. So why Henry? Why divorce because of him? 7 years together. Barbara knew me well enough to understand. I wouldn't choose divorce unless I had completely given up. On the marriage. On her. Do I really have to live the way he wrote in that note? Never seeing him again for the rest of my life? No, I won't accept that. Just the thought of me never being by her side again made Barbara feel as though her heart were splitting open. If he left because of Henry, she thought, then I'll end it with Henry. I'll blacklist him, destroy his career. Anything, as long as Bennett changes his mind. 7 years of love, surely he couldn't be that cruel. Clinging to that final thread of hope, Barbara sped back to the hospital. All the tenderness she once felt for Henry had vanished. Now, she only wanted to sever all ties with him. To win me back. She parked, strode down the hallway, and was just about to push open the ward door, when a vicious voice inside stopped her cold. I had to hurt myself just to frame that old man. Henry sneered. And Barbara still dares to think about him? I should have told those obsessed fans to claw Bennett's face off. Let's see how he could ever steal her back then. Barbara's hand froze on the doorknob. Henry's injury was self-inflicted? She hadn't lied, she truly hadn't laid a finger on him. In fact, half a month ago, when she was attacked in the underground parking lot, it was Henry who had secretly incited his fans to do it. And yet, Barbara had chosen to believe this deceitful man. Not only did she forgive the real culprit who'd harmed her, she even blamed herself for his wound, donating 800 milliliters of blood for no reason at all. Inside the hospital room, unaware that Barbara was standing outside the door, Henry continued speaking to himself. If it weren't for Anna's husband forcing me like that, I wouldn't have risked injuring myself. Once I recover, I'll make sure Barbara gets pregnant with my child. She dotes on me so much now, it'll definitely work. Then I'll be the husband of the CEO. As for that old man Bennett, of course it's best to eliminate him completely. I'll pull the same trick again and have those crazy fans deal with him. Even if they get caught, it won't have anything to do with me. Every word peeled back another layer of Henry's malicious nature hiding beneath his charming mask. Rage flared inside Barbara. She kicked the hospital door open with a loud crash. Henry, how dare you lie to me? Henry, who had been on the phone, hadn't even had time to erase the vicious look from his face. Startled, he froze. When had she arrived? Had she heard everything? Still clinging to a thread of hope, he pretended to be confused. Barbara, what are you talking about? When did I ever lie to you? That fake expression of his disgusted her. Her voice turned cold as ice, sharp enough to slice him apart. "Henry, you've got some nerve." With every word she spoke, the color drained from Henry's face. She had heard everything. Panicked, his voice trembled as he tried to justify himself. "Barbara, I only did it because I love you too much. I was jealous of Bennett. He's been with you for 7 years. And I wanted to hurt him. I was terrified you'd leave me and go back to him." As for Anna's husband, tears streamed down Henry's face as he continued his pitiful act. "He got me drunk at that party on purpose and took advantage of me while I was out of it. I had no idea what was happening. I'm a victim too. I just didn't tell you because I was afraid you'd despise me. I was so scared, Barbara." Before, whenever he teared up like that, Barbara's heart would soften immediately. She'd rush to comfort him. But this time, she only looked down at him, her gaze icy and unyielding. Her jaw clenched as she spoke through gritted teeth. "Henry, still trying to lie to me? Do you really take me for a fool? Besides, the only person I've ever loved is Bennett. You could never compare to him." Henry's eyes widened in disbelief. Barbara only loved Bennett? Impossible. She'd divorced for him. How could she not love him? Ignoring the pain from his surgery, Henry staggered off the bed, trying to throw himself into her arms. "Barbara, I'm the one you love. You divorced for me. How could you not love me?" Barbara stepped back coldly, dodging his grasp. "The divorce was fake, just a performance to trick you. Did you really think I'd divorce Bennett for a lying coward like you? Everything you've done, I'll expose it online. Let everyone see your true face." Henry stumbled forward into empty air, collapsing hard to the floor. His surgical wound tore open, sending waves of pain through his body. But the agony in his chest was far worse. Clutching at Barbara's pant leg, he begged desperately. "Barbara, please, I only did it because I love you too much. Forgive me, please. I'll disappear. I'll never come between you and Bennett again." Hearing my name, Barbara let out a cold, bitter laugh, then slapped him across the face. "You're not worthy of saying Bennett's name. As for forgiveness, save that for your fans." Without another glance, she turned and strode away, ignoring Henry's cries. Outside the hospital, Barbara immediately called her assistant, ordering her to dig up every piece of dirt on Henry and send it to her office. Her assistant worked fast. Within 2 hours, a thick stack of documents was delivered to her desk. Barbara flipped through the pages one by one. With every turn, her expression darkened, the fury in her chest growing hotter. By the last page, she couldn't hold back anymore. She kicked the chair over and cursed aloud. The first time she'd met Henry had been at an award ceremony. He hadn't won anything, despite his modest fame, and afterward, she'd caught him backstage, quietly giving himself a pep talk. That stubborn, determined look reminded her of herself at 20. That was why she had pursued him. She had believed he was like her younger self, tough, hardworking, never giving up. But everything had been a lie, an act. Henry had long been involved with an older sponsor. When he grew tired of her, he shifted his sights to Barbara. Every encounter between them had been carefully orchestrated. Even the attack I suffered in the underground parking lot, he had incited his fan group to stalk and assault me. Barbara's temple throbbed, her eyes flashing with icy resolve. She handed the documents to her assistant. "Release everything to the public. And terminate Henry's contract immediately." Within a minute, Instagram crashed. Henry's scandals dominated the trending list. Rising young actor sleeps his way to fame. Henry the homewrecker. Henry incites fans to attack Bennett. The internet exploded with outrage. "Oh my God, I thought he was so innocent. But he had a sugar daddy and even told fans to do his dirty work. They're the ones getting arrested, while he walks free. What a snake." I always wanted to say this. Everyone knew Barbara and Bennett were married. Yet when Henry announced his relationship with her, people still congratulated him. I knew something was wrong with that crowd. Exactly, Bennett hasn't acted in years. But his films were great. Now this male mistress ruins his marriage? Serves them both right. Barbara deserves to be cheated on. Reporters rushed to the hospital, swarming Henry despite his recent surgery. Cameras flashed mercilessly in his face. "Mr. Henry, are these reports true? Did you really have an affair with your sponsor and frame Bennett? Mr. Henry, do you feel any guilt at all for what you've done?" Henry completely broke down. He grabbed nearby objects and hurled them at the reporters, screaming for them to get out, but they refused to leave. Even the nurses, now aware of the scandal, looked at him with open disgust. In an instant, the once beloved rising star became a rat on the street, everyone's target. Unable to handle the humiliation, Henry's mind snapped. He curled up on the hospital bed, clutching his pillow, muttering that he was Barbara's husband, a world-famous star. Seeing his deteriorating state, the hospital transferred him to a psychiatric facility. Barbara, meanwhile, no longer cared about Henry at all. She ordered her assistant to use every resource available to locate me. She had to find me, to apologize, to fix what was left between us. Soon, the assistant reported back. I had bought a plane ticket to England, but my exact whereabouts there were unknown. Barbara's fury erupted again. The entire company worked in fear, terrified of becoming her next outlet for rage. When she finally calmed down, she gave one last command. Keep searching for him, turn all of England upside down if you have to. Find Bennett. 4 years later, at Benito Juarez Airport, wearing a trench coat, I had just stepped off the plane when I pulled out my sunglasses and mask. Only after making sure my face was completely covered did I feel at ease walking out. As soon as I reached the arrival gate, I spotted Mr. Guardiola standing there, his eyes scanning the crowd. A small smile appeared on my lips. I quietly walked up behind him and tapped his shoulder. Startled, Mr. Guardiola turned around. I pulled my mask down slightly and whispered, "Guardiola, it's me." He stared at me for a long moment before punching my shoulder hard. His voice choked with emotion. "Bennett, you're finally back." I patted his shoulder, signaling that we should leave first. He quickly reacted and pushed the luggage cart toward the parking lot. Once we were in the van, I took off my mask and sunglasses, revealing a bright smile. I looked much better now than I had 4 years ago. To him, I must have looked like the young man I'd once been, confident, talented, but now with a calm maturity I hadn't had back then. He teased, "Bennett, 4 years without seeing you, and it seems you've been living quite well in England, huh? I was even worried you wouldn't be eating properly. I sent you food all the time." I laughed, patting my stomach. "Thanks to your care. In that culinary desert called England, not only did I not lose weight, I actually gained a few pounds." My bright smile made Guardiola emotional. This is the Bennett I met years ago." He waved a hand, chuckling softly. "Ha, I must be getting old, getting nostalgic like this. So, now that you're back, are you planning to return to England again?" I nodded. Director Alan's film is already finished. I only came back for the premiere. After that, I'll be going to other countries for promotions. My next project is already lined up. Alan introduced me to one of his friends. Looks like I'll be spending a lot of time abroad from now on. Guardiola was overjoyed that I'd managed to establish myself in the international film industry. I was the first artist he'd ever managed. He'd spent 4 years watching me rise from a complete nobody to an A-list actor. And he, once a clumsy newcomer to management, had grown into a capable and respected agent. My decision to quit the entertainment world to marry Barbara had been the thing that hurt him most, not because he lost a moneymaker, but because he felt the years of hard work we'd put in had gone to waste. He alone knew how much sweat it had taken to go from a rookie to a top star in just 4 years. And in terms of acting, I had the talent to surpass most others. Acting had always been my life. But as my friend, he only wanted me to be happy. When he saw Barbara's affection for me back then, he thought I'd found the love of my life and didn't try to stop me. He even gave me his blessing. Who would have thought that marriage would last only 3 years? Those 3 years had worn me down, drained away my passion, and even changed my character. Thankfully, after 4 years, he could once again see the 20-year-old me in front of him. He believed that sooner or later, the name Bennett would shine on the international stage. After arriving at the hotel, I lay down on the bed, exhausted. Guardiola glanced at me several times, clearly hesitating about something. I turned over and said, "Guardiola, if there's something you want to say, just say it." He hesitated for a long while before finally speaking. "Bennett, after you left, CEO Barbara never stopped looking for you. 4 years, and she still hasn't given up. Now that you're back, what if you run into her?" After 4 years, hearing the name, Barbara, didn't stir any emotion in me. Our marriage had ended long ago. To me, she was nothing more than someone I once knew. Besides, the company hosting this premiere was Los Monterey, her company. Director Alan had asked me to coordinate the details of the event with them. So it was only a matter of time before she found out. Guardiola looked worried. What if CEO Barbara apologizes and wants to get back together with you? I knew he was afraid I might soften and forgive her. I cleared my throat and assured him, "Don't worry, Guardiola. Whatever feelings I had for her, they disappeared 4 years ago." Hearing that, he finally relaxed, reminded me to get some rest, and left the hotel. The fatigue from the long flight hit me, and I slept straight through until the next morning. When I checked the time, it was almost time for the meeting between Director Allen's team and Los Monterey. I hurried to get ready and headed there. In the Los Monterey conference room, Barbara checked her watch. Her other hand tapped the table rhythmically, her entire presence radiated tension. It's already time. Why hasn't Director Allen's representative arrived yet? Just then, a man's voice came from the door. Sorry, I'm late. The moment I pushed the door open, every gaze in the room turned toward me. Everyone in the company knew exactly who I was. The ex-husband their boss had longed for day and night. Barbara froze in her chair. Her heart seemed to stop. She didn't even dare blink, afraid that if she did, I'd vanish like a mirage. It wasn't until I calmly sat down that she realized this was real. The man she had missed for 4 long years was finally back. My eyes lingered on Barbara for just 1 second before I spoke politely. CEO Barbara, it's been a long time. That distant, formal address stabbed at Barbara's heart. In 4 years, she had imagined countless scenarios for our reunion. Perhaps I'd still be angry. Perhaps I'd refuse to see her. But never had she imagined I'd be this indifferent. Throughout the meeting, Barbara barely said a word, her gaze constantly fixed on me. Meanwhile, I calmly finalized all the terms of cooperation, my work completely unaffected. After the contract was signed, everyone else tactfully excused themselves. I picked up the documents, preparing to return to my hotel. Barbara called out softly, Bennett, aren't you going to give me an explanation? Her voice trembled. I sighed inwardly. It was bound to happen, I couldn't avoid it forever. Looking at her, I replied evenly, CEO Barbara, we've been divorced for 4 years. I don't think I have any obligation to report my whereabouts to my ex-wife. My calmness only made Barbara's eyes turn red. The woman who had always been proud and composed now spoke in a trembling voice. But I never agreed to the divorce. I raised an eyebrow. CEO Barbara, you were the one who proposed the divorce. The one who drafted the agreement. And the one who signed it yourself. How does that count as not agreeing? One sentence left Barbara speechless. Indeed, it had been she who first proposed the divorce. She was even the one who signed the papers. All she could do was repeat, helplessly, the same explanation she had given 1,000 times before. I only wanted a fake divorce. I never thought we'd really break up. Barbara was still the same as ever, always saying meaningless things. I didn't want to get tangled up with her any longer. Now, all I cared about was my acting career. No matter what, the divorce was already a fact. 4 years had passed. President Barbara, you should let go soon. Stop drowning in the past. The man in her memories, once filled with warmth and love, now had only coldness and distance on his face. Barbara's heart ached. Her voice grew hoarse as she spoke. Bennett, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have taken your love for granted and gone looking for someone else. Can you forgive me? I swear from now on there will only be you by my side. In truth, I didn't regret those 7 years with Barbara. We had shared beautiful memories. And once, genuine love. But that love had changed over time. I, Bennett, know when to move on. Now, I have already let go of her betrayal. What's past is past, there's no need to bring it up again. I hope from now on we can just be business partners. I don't want to be disturbed anymore. After saying that, I stood up and left. Thus ended our first meeting in 4 years. When I returned to the hotel, Director Allen called me. Bennett, how did the talk with Los Monterey go? Was everything smooth? I smiled. Very smooth, the contract's been signed. Once the premiere is over next week, I'll return to England right away. On the other end, Allen sighed in relief. Then, curiously, he asked, I heard the president of Los Monterey has been searching for her missing husband. Has she found him yet? Allen didn't know about my marriage to Barbara. I paused for a moment before replying. She found him. But her husband has decided to start a new life. And leave the past behind. Allen sighed regretfully. Love, why do people always realize its value only after losing it? I didn't answer. After discussing some other details about the premiere, I hung up. During the following week, aside from coordinating with Los Monterey about the event, I spent my time wandering through the streets and alleys of this city. It had been 4 years since I last came here, and nostalgia crept in. Every time I walked down the street, I felt someone secretly following me. I could guess who it was. But since that person didn't show herself, I pretended not to notice. On the day of the premiere, every major media outlet in the country was present. A former A-list actor returning from abroad with his first film after retirement. An irresistible headline. When the movie ended, the entire theater was stunned. This was the film director Alan had spent 4 years perfecting. A true masterpiece. Some colleagues even commented on the spot that it was a film capable of sweeping all the international awards. During the interview session after the screening, a reporter asked, "Mr. Bennett, years ago you left your career at its peak to marry Ms. Barbara. But 3 years later your marriage ended in turmoil. Now you've returned with such a brilliant performance. May I ask, do you regret marrying President Barbara? If you hadn't, with your acting talent, perhaps you would already be an international star by now. So, do you think that 3-year marriage was a mistake?" As soon as the question ended, all the photographers turned their flashes toward me. Everyone awaited my answer, including Barbara, standing in the audience below. These days, she hadn't dared to face me directly, only watching me from afar. The reporter's question was, in truth, the very answer she longed for. I thought for a few moments, then smiled and replied, "I never regretted it. Nor do I think that marriage was a mistake. At the time, Ms. Barbara and I truly loved each other. Our marriage gave me many warm moments, memories that will never fade. As for how things fell apart later, I, Bennett, can accept that outcome. Now, I've completely let it go. To me, it's just a small chapter in the long story of my life." Hearing my answer, Barbara was overwhelmed with crushing regret. When I had proposed to her, she had promised to love only me forever, that she would never change. In the first year of our marriage, our home was full of warmth and laughter. But once she reached for another man, that home grew colder and colder, and her radiant smile disappeared. Back then, Barbara didn't care. She thought as long as I was still her husband, everything was fine. She ignored the very thing that had once moved me most, her pure heart and wholehearted love. Barbara knew she no longer had any chance to win me back. The next day, after the premiere, I headed to the airport to return to England. Just as I reached the gate, a breathless voice called from behind, "Bennett, wait." I turned around to see Barbara running toward me. I stopped. "President Barbara, is there something you need?" This was probably the last time we would ever see each other. She still wasn't used to the distant way I addressed her, but she no longer had the right to change it. She handed me a small bag. "Take this, it belongs to you." I frowned. I couldn't recall leaving anything behind. Seeing my guarded expression, Barbara gave a bitter smile and pulled the object from the bag. It was a trophy. In that instant, I thought of the Oscar the first should have received 4 years ago. I looked at Barbara, my eyes filled with complicated emotions. Holding back the pain in her voice, Barbara extended the trophy to me. "Don't worry, this isn't Henry's trophy. I had another one made. It was my fault that you lost the glory that should have been yours. You were the one who deserved to stand on that stage and receive all the applause. In the end, I took the trophy. It was, in a way, closure for both of us. Thank you." Taking the trophy, I wheeled my suitcase and walked into the terminal. Barbara stood there, watching my figure fade into the distance, until it disappeared completely. From then on, Barbara followed every piece of news about my new films. Whenever there was a premiere I attended, she would watch it. She knew that in this lifetime, there would never be a future for the two of us again. But as long as she could still see me from afar, that was enough.